Hello everybody, welcome to the MaffmanJones movie channel. I'm your host John Maffio, and no, we're not discussing a movie today. We're actually going back to something that I do every once in a while, once in a blue moon.
Bitchin'.
Drink, Belgian white. I'd review TV shows, and last year, Stranger Things released on Netflix in early July, and it looked like a really fun Spielbergian Stephen King type show, and I was going to see it no matter what happened with it, and it happened to blow up, and it has become since one of the biggest cultural phenomenons. And we are now at season 2, and all the cast is back, and the story continues where the last one left off about 1 year later, 1984. And I'm not going to get into spoilers right away, but the initial plot is that Will, who has suffered some things from being in the Upside Down in season 1, is still suffering in season 2 in a different way, and it's affecting his group and along with the rest of Hawkins. I think if you're a fan of the first season, you're going to be a fan of this season. I can't recommend it for those who haven't seen the first season or aren't a fan of the show. If you're not a fan of the show, whoever's out there, please let me know. But if you're a fan of the first one, you will definitely find things to enjoy here, or even enjoy it more so than the first season, which is the camp that I have grown myself into lately. I keep going back and forth, and I used to think I liked the first season more. I think as a piece of art, I like the first one more, but there's more to grasp onto in season 2 in terms of the characters and the story. And I'm still thinking about it over a week and a half later from watching it. Like, there's a lot of feels in this season. A lot of feels, and I'll get into that, but damn, in some ways, they went above and beyond. So yeah, that concludes my spoiler-free consensus of the show. Overall, I really love this show, and I love this season. I can't wait to see where it goes. There are flaws to be discussed, which I'll get into those as well. But overall, I think the journey is so strong, and in ways profound. And I found myself crying a lot this season. And I just think if you're a fan of the first season, you can't go wrong with this. And you'll be chomping at the bit for a third season. But we have to get that season filmed fast, and 4 and 5 if they're doing 5 seasons, because these kids are aging, man. For those who are growing up in this day and age, because I think sometimes I forget that there are kids growing up right now. Harry Potter, when I grew up, was the biggest thing. Growing up with Rupert Grint, Daniel Radcliffe, and Emma Watson was truly a special part of my childhood, and I think even though this is a little darker and there are things, a lot of more heavy subjects going on in Stranger Things, I think for kids who are growing up in the streaming era, to grow up with these kids, season 1 and 2, and then possibly 3, 4, and 5 more, that's something special. Now let's get into spoilers, and I don't know where to start. Going through the 9 chapters of this particular season, I do think it starts off a little slow. There's a lot more character building. We're seeing where characters are after a year after the events of the first season, and it's during Halloween. And then things start to pick up once we get into episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 and 9 are, in my opinion, the best episodes of the season because it's a culmination of everything that's happened before it, and you get all the feels, all the emotions, all the action, some really powerful moments, and literally, at the snowball, I couldn't help it. My girlfriend and I were watching the show, and my girlfriend loves Mike and 11. We were both, like, almost sobbing. Like, there are moments in the show that really feel as powerful as they are because they earned it. They earned the powerful moment. They earned the emotion. And seeing Mike and 11 kiss at the snowball, it's like, woo! Seeing Finn be like, I don't dance either. You want to figure it out? Woo! Seeing Dustin do the hair up like Steve Harrington and trying to get all the girls, and none of them they're all rejecting him. But then Nancy comes along and goes, you know what? You have a crush on me, and yeah, I'll dance with you. And it was really sweet. Like, literally, moment after moment where you're like, oh! And don't get me started also on Every Breath You Take, which is one of my favorite Police songs ever. One of my favorite songs, period. Hearing that when Mike and 11 kissed during the snowball was part of the reason why I got so emotional and torn up at the end. Some of my biggest flaws with the season, and I'm sure this is common with a lot of other people, and I've seen that because I've watched videos and read reviews, is that the 7th episode, The Lost Sister, 11 meets 8, who is another government experiment that Brenner worked with back when 11 was really young. And she basically goes by herself to Chicago and meets her and this group of misfits who you see in the first scene of the first episode of this season. They go on a turn, they go in a different direction with this, and I do understand why it's there, and I do think it makes the moments more powerful when she does come back and see Mike for the first time, when she does close the gate, and when she actually shows off what seems to be the pinnacle of her powers at this time. Like, it looks like she's about to explode when she's closing that gate. But there's also, it just feels like a pace killer, because Stranger Things, as much as it's a binge show, it seems consistent for the most part because we're always in Hawkins, and to go out of Hawkins to Chicago, it kind of put it to a halt. But there are moments in the episode I really do like. I really do like the character of 8. I think she's a great addition, and I'm sure we're going to explore her more later on. So to have her reunite with 11 at some point would be cool. The moment where she teaches 11 to basically use the anger to move the truck. I like that too. It's just, overall, it just felt like a halt. Moving into Will, Noah Schnapp, who definitely makes a killing this season. He's stuck in the Upside Down the whole first season, doesn't have much to do, but he has Emmy-worthy performances in this season. The build-up, the storytelling, and the ultimate climax of the season would feel lesser without an actor of his caliber. He's a great actor. I'm also a huge fan of David Harbour, and I love that he's in this show, and he really brings a lot to his character of Hopper. And his relationship with 11, I really enjoyed it. Continuing from last season where we learned that he basically lost his daughter in a very tragic way, to see him fill that void, to try to fill that void anyway, with 11, it's a really nice dynamic there, and you see he's really trying, but he's also struggling because he's trying to help out the town of Hawkins and keeping the secret alive from the government still, because Paul Reiser from Aliens is running it now, and he's like the anti-Brenner. Stranger Things this season had a lot of little moments, and a lot of the best little moments came with Hopper and 11 together. Whether it was good or bad, I mean, you gotta give it up for the Hopper dance. Hopper this season didn't really punch many people in the face, though, and I'm hoping that happens again next season. But his dynamic with 11 was one of my favorite parts of this season. We'll have to see, but I'm thinking that maybe him and Winona Ryder get together. People are shipping it. I kind of ship it, so we'll have to see. Segueing into the superhero, because Winona Ryder lost somebody else. So much stuff going on in the Byers family. It's so sad. Bob. I swear, the whole time, I really genuinely thought that Sean Astin, who I love as an actor, was going to turn out to be one of the spies of the government, and he was just spying on the Byers family because, you know, all the stuff that happened with Will. And you find out he's just a genuinely cool dude, and then he gets killed. And it's so tragic. I honestly saw it coming from a mile away, but when it happens, it's still, like, it hits you like a bus. They dedicate so much time to seeing him try to escape with Paul Reiser helping him, and he gets to the lobby and he sees Winona Ryder, but then once he gets to the lobby and he's almost there out the door, the way it's filmed and the way it's choreographed, it just clicked in my head, yeah, he's dead. But for a while I'm like, oh, he's gonna get out of this, and he's actually gonna be like a character who stays until the end of this whole show. And it's not like he died in like a really quick way either. He got devoured by these demodogs. I'm trying to think of everything that happened in the show. There's a lot of small details that they were able to work in there so seamlessly and flawlessly without it seeming too jam-packed. Steve Harrington becoming babysitter dad. Steve Dad. I loved it. I love where his character has gone, and I love the actor who plays him, and I think where he's been and where he is now, such a huge jump, but it feels so natural. I really liked his dynamic with Dustin when they're on the train tracks, and he's basically saying that he used Farrah Fawcett hairspray. Nancy's out there trying to figure out what she really wants in this love triangle. Like, does she like Steve or love Steve? And does she like Jonathan or love Jonathan? And eventually you find out, yeah, her and Jonathan are getting it. And I never noticed the first time, but there's a Temple of Doom reference when they decide to finally actually do the do. Also, the dude who plays the conspiratist, I know him from Love, and I feel like I know him from other things too, but I really liked his role. He really hammed it up in a creepy way. You kind of don't like him, he's slimy, but he also has a personality that like flickers like a really good stand-up comedian. So like you kind of like also enjoy what he has to say about a situation, and seeing him toy with Jonathan and Nancy when they're staying with him that one night, that was like a highlight moment for me too. I would have liked to see more variety in monsters from the Upside Down. All we got was really an army of demidogs, which is reminiscent of aliens or gremlins, and I'm fine with that. It worked for the story, but in the future, depending on where they're going with the story, if they're also exploring the sister dynamic with 11, I would like to see more variety in the Upside Down, but I'm sure that's definitely going to happen. Another aspect that initially bothered me, but I guess if I think of the headspace of this character, I can understand where he's coming from, is Dustin and the Poliwag. When he finds this creature in his trash can, the first thing I thought was, you've been here before, you know what a Demogorgon is, you know this thing probably isn't earthly, why are you growing a connection to it? In a way, the way this season ends, you don't need more seasons. All the characters' arcs are concluded, and yeah, the Shadow Monster's just kind of lurking, watching everybody from the upside down, but the gate is closed. Technically, the story is okay. The only thing that's kind of left loose is the story with 11's sister, 8. That's really it. But I am looking forward to seeing how the Duffer Brothers continue their story and their vision for this show. And for now, that wraps up my review for Stranger Things Season 2 with spoilers. I hope you enjoyed it, but now I want to know from you guys. If you've seen the first 2 seasons, let me know what you thought about both in the comments down below. Which one do you prefer, and where do you want the season to go moving forward, and the characters that are in it? If you're still watching out there and you haven't hit me up with a like, please like. You can also subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the rest of my videos down below. Also, check out my social medias as well. And while you're also here, if you don't have one already, click the link down below in my description box for Stardust. It's a reviewing app where you can basically talk about a movie or TV show in reaction form for 30 seconds or less. It's an awesome app, and I basically react on it weekly on a daily basis, so go follow me on that. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'm looking forward to Stranger Things Season 3. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, because again, these kids are growing old fast, so they gotta get on that. I'll see you guys next time. Bitchin'.